Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Let's get into the topic now.
Historical friction.
On December 29, 2023, South Africa filed proceedings in the International Court of Justice against Israel, accusing the country of committing genocide against the Palestinian people. This is officially known as the application for the convention. You can read the rest. I will clap and it should come up on the screen. Let me do it. Did not. Let's try again. Okay, let me try twice. Oh, that worked. That worked. Great. So read that. That's what that is. I'm not going to go through that. That's just quite long and you get the gist. But why did South Africa do this? You would say it's because they believe Israel is committing a genocide against the Palestinian people in Gaza. And you would be partially right. But that's not the full story. Understanding the origins of this friction requires us to delve into 5 key factors. Why do they have beef? Let's get into it.
The apartheid paradox.
At the heart of the tension lies Israel's support for the South African apartheid regime during its reign of racial segregation. Despite Israel's opposition to apartheid through the Foreign Service, Israel's actions spoke louder than words. From the 1970s onwards, a virgin military and economic partnership blossomed between the two nations, fueled by Israel's sense of isolation after African nations severed ties due to Arab pressure. This pact with the devil, as some would call it, fueled resentment within the black community, particularly the African National Congress, ANC, led by Nelson Mandela.
Statehood under threat.
Beyond mere expediency, Israel also saw its survival at stake. You see, in the beginning of the 1970s, almost all Arab countries, I think all of them, did not recognize Israel as a state. By the way, which permanent member was expelled from the United Nations in 1971? Which country was expelled from the UN in 1971? Do not use Google. Write the answer in the comments, and I'll go get some tea and come back with the answer. If you said Taiwan, you are correct. Anyway, let's go on to the next discussion and keep discussing this topic. The 1975 UN resolution equating Zionism with racism and the expulsion of Taiwan served as stark reminders of Israel's precarious global standing. To Israel, the increasing relationship with apartheid South Africa was not just about allyship and weapons. It was also about maintaining international legitimacy, even if it meant having relations with a pariah state. By the way, did you know that Israelis were expelled from an African country in the 20th century? Idi Amin, the dictator of Uganda, expelled the Israelis from the country in 1972. He later assisted in the hijacking of a plane carrying Jewish passengers by hosting the hijackers with the hostages, prompting a successful Israeli rescue operation in Tebe in 1976, with the loss of 4 hostages out of 103 hostages. But sadly, the leader of the rescue operation, Jonathan Netanyahu, brother of the current Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, was also killed. It should be noted that out of the 4 hostages killed, 1 was murdered after the raid by Ugandan officers at the behest of Idi Amin in a hospital. Such an event also catalyzed Israel's forging of closer relations with apartheid South Africa.
Ideological discord.
Despite Israel's public opposition to apartheid, Israel's internal politics also played a role. Elements within the Israeli establishment held views sympathetic to South Africa's racial policies, seeing parallels with their own perceived struggle for survival in a hostile environment. And yes, this is an actual footage of racist and pro-apartheid Prime Minister Vorster visiting Israel in 1976, laying a wreath at the Holocaust Museum. This ideological overlap further complicated the situation, blurring the lines between pragmatism and
Unhealed wounds.
South Africa's transition to democracy and ANC's rise to power did not erase the memories of Israel's spawn for apartheid. Mandela's statement, "The people of South Africa will never forget the support of the State of Israel to the apartheid regime," stands as a potent reminder of the lasting scars. Moreover, Israel's alleged assistance in developing South Africa's nuclear program, later dismantled before the ANC took over, continues to cast a long shadow over bilateral relations.
Political polarization.
The present political landscapes of both nations further complicate any possibility of reconciliation, with South Africa firmly aligned with the Palestinian cause, and Israel shifting to the right. Finding common ground seems increasingly difficult. While the ANC's recent legal action against Israel may be fueled by domestic political calculations, it underscores the chasm that separates the two nations.
A bleak outlook.
The current state of affairs presents a bleak outlook for South Africa and Israel. The deep fissures rooted in history, fueled by ideological discord and political polarization, seem unlikely to bridge in the foreseeable future. Reconciliation would require a significant shift in the political landscapes of both nations, something that appears improbable in the short term. While this analysis paints a pessimistic picture, it is important to acknowledge ongoing efforts at dialogue and rapprochement. Civil society groups within both nations continue to foster engagement and understanding, seeking to navigate the complexities of their shared history. Though their voices may seem faint amidst the political discord, they offer a glimmer of hope for a future where reconciliation, however distant, remains a possibility.